Okay. So I'm recording now. You ready to go, Nadia?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So I want to welcome Nadia to our amazing line of interviewees that we putting together for our group, our professional engineers roundtable group. The purpose of those interviews. Well, first, welcome, Nadia.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity that I can share my experience and I can talk to others same as myself.
Yeah, definitely. You're an inspiration to many engineers, overseas engineers, female engineers. You tick so many boxes, Nadia. It's amazing.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So the purpose of those interviews are, like we said, to show the next generation of leaders in engineering what's been happening in the industry, like what how people influence the industry within their realm of influence, and what else, Nadia? What else we want to achieve? I'm not sure. So, yeah.
Just by sharing the experience, if people can just extract even the one thing that they can improve their job or can improve, have a good lead in their life, I would be very happy, because it's up to your audience that how they can use the information or the knowledge that you are sharing. For every person can be different.
Yeah, that's it. And we can, bring the horse to the water, but they need to take the learnings from this and utilize it in their own lives. Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. So we have a few questions to go through, and I want this interview to be a conversation. So just like we tried to do an interview yesterday, and we end up just chatting about whatever. So
sure.
We'll try to follow the structure, but let's keep it a conversation that, just a normal conversation,
Yeah.
The people that will watch it will be just engineers like us, and we're just normal people, so let's keep it normal, whatever normal is. So first thing, can you share with us about yourself, where you're from, family, hobbies, those kind of things, so people get to know you?
Yeah, I born in Iran, and my childhood, teenager time, and some of my adult time spent in the Iran between the lovely people.
Yeah.
And I graduated from the university in Iran. I studied BS in electrical engineer, and also I had the master science degree from the electrical electronic engineering in Iran. And one of the best, I can say, the university. And there was a challenge because in Iran, going to the university is not as a in here, because in here you will apply. If you meet their criteria, you will pay, and then you can go to the university. But over there is a many talent people. I can say in that time, 1 million people needed to compete to each other. Just 100 people could go to the one major that everybody, because some of the courses were some I can say popular, same as medical. Many people in those times wanted to be a doctor, and for the electrical engineering, that it was one of the subject that many people wanted to become an electrical engineer, and it was challenge from starting. Yeah. So this is about me. Yep.
So your first experience as an engineer, just to be accepted to engineering school, was a challenge.
Yeah, it was really big challenge, because if you see that the 1 million people are competing with you to get into the uni, because in Iran we have just the government uni in that time. At the moment, many other university opened, but in that time, all of them was under the government. Very high educational system, free, but the competition was very high. And for the engineering, especially in those times, it's known as a men subject.
Yeah.
If you become a nurse, medical even crew, it was easy to accept, but as an engineer, I don't say they didn't accept. They did, because I could go into the uni if I could pass that entrance exam, because they had the 2 exam, and they compare, depend on the just the grade and mark you get, you could apply for uni. For example, if we say that it was 100%, if you can get 90%, okay, you could have a hope that, yes, I can go to the uni for the course or for a major that you like or field that you like to study. My mark was 150 between those people that near the 1 million people, that really I shocked when I got my result. Before I can just say that which university I like, because the process was you do the exam, you get the result, and depend on your result, you could apply for the up to the 50 university and 50 field. For example, if we imagine that it was UQ, QUT in Australia, you could say, okay, I like to continue in electrical engineering in QUT, UQ, and you prioritize what you want, and depend on your numbers and how other people applied, you could get into or not.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't really easy process. I was one of the just luckiest person, I think, that I could just go and study what I want, that I was passionate, honestly, for a long time.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And if you can share with us, if you want, like when you arrived to Australia and what brought you to come to Australia, what's the reasons behind it?
Challengeable question. It's really challenge, because I'm Australian, and proudly I'm Australian, and proudly I know myself as a Persian Australian citizen. Still, I love the homeland. Still, I love the people who are living there. But for a woman who just educated from engineering as known as a main job over there, because there was after especially revolution, there was restriction for women to work in some area, and I had always challenge. Depend on each president, some restriction is, some get worse, and I reached to the point that now it is the time to move on, because the stress of working as a woman really impact on my health. And my doctor said, you need to just ease it. You cannot stop not working.
Yeah.
But if you see there is other solution can just remove this pressure on you, just do it, because still you are young, but it's not going to last forever. If you be under this pressure, may you get something that they can impact on your health. So that one was my turning point, that I said, okay, now it is the time to experience the free countries who believe that the women can work as a man, without considering the agenda, without considering the gender of the person, as an engineer, not female or male, just a person as an engineer. So I had 3 choices. I love go to US,
Yeah.
My sister is living there.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get the visa. Even the university sent the visa without having the TOEFL. They by my grade that I got, mark that I had from uni, GPA that I had, it was A plus. I don't know how I got it, but they just liked my presentation and my passion. But I tried twice, and the US didn't give me the visa. So there was two other options. That the one was Canada, another was Australia. Believe in me, even you can see me, I cannot live in the cold area. I'm the person who likes the warm
Yeah.
environment, you know. However, most of my friends, uni classmates, and even the high schools are living in US or Canada because they are close together. Even you immigrate to Canada, just traveling between the two countries is much easier from Australia to everywhere. But I just made a decision, come to the Australia, and it was amazing the first day when I arrived at Australia because I surprised with the cold weather in Melbourne.
Oh.
Because you immigrate, you need to nominate it, where's your arrival point.
Yeah.
And I checked in the Yahoo weather and I saw Sydney and the Melbourne. That time I didn't know about the Brisbane. And I saw, wow, it's 17. It seems it is a spring in Iran. It would be lovely. So I said, okay, Sydney had the limitation for to apply. I said, okay, I'm going to Melbourne. It's the beautiful place to live. And it was really scenery, everything except of the weather. 10 minutes, you could experience a spring, summer, fall, and winter, and you could froze whole the night. So yeah, I said, okay, you didn't choose Canada because you thought that you're going to warm country, but yeah, I got the surprise after arrival, but no choice. So I applied for a job, and I was lucky that I got the job in the Brisbane, and just I moved to Brisbane, and I'm living since then.
Yeah, cool. Can I share with you and with the audience what I'm actually hearing? So I'm hearing a lot of leadership qualities from your story, like the drive for professional excellence. It's like people put you down and you go, and that's also being proactive. So people put you down and you go, I'm not taking that. I'm going to make my own destiny. I'm taking control over the situation. I'm going somewhere I can fulfill my potential. All of those things, I'm working with engineers to try to teach them those things. And you just have it, naturally coming out of you. And that's why you're here.
Thank you. It is my word. Never give up.
Yeah.
Everybody has an up and down. Everybody.
Yeah.
But if you don't keep hope that the one day you are going to get what you deserve, really the life wouldn't be colorful, wouldn't be meaning.
Yeah.
You know, you need that just keep your hope. I had dark side too, because everybody's life always is not perfect. Even if you look at the big guys, very successful people, you can see some of them started when they were poor, when they didn't have anything, but they never gave up. And I'm not going to give up.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a fighter.
I am. Definitely I am. This is in my gene. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is. Oh, I had something very smart to say about it and I forgot. Anyway, it will come back.
Please, Shemi, please. I'm very open person. Please just share what you like to say.
Yeah, I want to say something. You just slipped my mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's see what's the next question. So the next one was about your career, where you study, graduate. Oh yeah, what I want to say is there's always ups and downs,
Yes.
and we kind of when we get to the apps, we actually don't always celebrate. We just go, I worked so much to get there, I'm just gonna have it. Instead of going, hold on, you achieved something, celebrate it. Because you
Exactly.
worked so hard for it. So that's what I want people to kind of take away is celebrate the little things. Like almost every day, find something to be grateful and celebrate for. You know, and obviously we don't want to wait. It's like with the annual reviews. Like once, I don't want to get once a year feedback on my performance. I want to get from my boss performance every day, so I can improve every day. You know, like once a year is just too far. You know, so we don't want to celebrate only the big things. We want to celebrate the little wins. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it is a little is challengeable. You know, if you don't have a big goal, target,
Mm.
you cannot move. You know, if you say, okay, this is enough for me, I want to achieve to this point, and you do, and you start to celebrate and forget that you needed to be in this
Yeah,
level, you will stay in that level. However, if you do not stop, you would be broken. Because if you speed up,
mm.
you can have a car accident. If you speed up, you don't see what you need to learn to,
Mm.
to be in there. You know, it's a challenge that, okay, I reach in here, I need a little celebration, but I need to keep my eyes open
Yeah.
that this one is not
Mm.
exactly what I wanted. I want to go up and up and up, but
Yeah,
step by step, not
yeah, yeah,
speedy. You know, it's for me is a little challengeable because, as I said, I saw many things in my life, very down, deep down, and even up. Even I met the big names in my life that the many people that work with me, they wish to meet them one day, but I was lucky. I was in the right time, in the right position, maybe, I don't know. But I reached to those points very early in my life when
mm.
I was even 25, 26,
Yeah,
that even I didn't have enough experience
mm.
that I can say, okay, I'm experienced person. Now the next step is I do this. You know, my life was starting very, very sharp, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It is just destiny. Sometimes I can say it's not nothing with me that I did.
Someone saw the potential in you and gave you
Uh,
that.
Appreciated your thought. Maybe, maybe not, but I was in the right time, in the right position when they didn't have anybody else. I can say in that way, because when there is always the senior engineer with you, those will cover for you. They would be deal with everything. But the some of the project that I work, all senior engineer for many reasons that they had, they left the project and it was just me, and I needed to fix everything. Maybe that pressure just made the progress for me. Became the person that just move on, just do something to get the progress. You know, I it seems that there's somebody when born and they lose the one of the dearest parents, and they need to grow up. They cannot have a childhood, and I think that in my career I didn't have a childhood stage,
Yeah, that's,
and yeah.
yeah. It's yeah. I'll say it again, and you just demonstrate what a lot of engineers actually the way they think. It's like they have really good excuse why good things happen to them, which is
Mm.
apparently it's not them. And I say again, I'll validate you for you were at the right place at the right time, but also you were who you are. And someone, instead of looking for someone else to do what they wanted them to do, they gave you the responsibility because they saw the potential. So it's more than just luck. It's actually who you being. I don't know. I didn't meet you back then, but who you're being, what you're presenting, how you presented yourself, that they say she's up for the challenge, you know? And
I
and
was the challengeable person. Yes, I agree with that one. I always open to take a responsibility, and I was open to learn. Even when I was doing my job, I took the classes, I study in parallel to improve my knowledge too, because one thing's that every engineer needs to know, even they are 60 years old, doesn't matter. They still need to learn, they still need to study, doesn't matter. You know, they need to improve their knowledge, their, you
yeah,
know, anything that they need to have to get the progress and achieve the
mm,
goals in their career.
yeah, cool. That's so true. And like when you're talking about the steps that you had in your career, which like the first one was really big.
It was really big.
Yeah, yeah. Um, it's funny when we, in hindsight, we don't think things are as big as we thought they are. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly, you're right.
I
First, it
can I give you an
scared
example?
you. Yep,
Yeah. So I talked to many engineers about becoming registered, and they see it as a huge, huge challenge and a huge milestone, which is it's a huge milestone. It's a meaningful milestone. It's not actually hard to achieve if you focus on it. You know, if you actually with purpose, yeah, you're not 100% agreeing with me there, which is good. So when you on in a purposeful way planning your registration, even from the day you graduate, and you know the target, like you said, you need to know your goal, and let's say you have 16 competencies. How I'm going to close these competencies in with awareness, not just wherever life is going to take me. It's actually have awareness around those competencies and close them one after the other. And so it's a big job, but in hindsight, when you go, it actually wasn't that big because it, as a professional, it actually part of being a professional. I actually have to do it. It's not just, it's like the content when you study in engineering school at uni is, it looks big when you study it the first time, but when you're practicing it, it becomes second nature, that you don't even think that you do things.
yeah, exactly. Uh,
What do you think about
there
that?
is a challenge, yeah, there is a challenge for foreigner educated people in Australia, especially these days. When I immigrated to the Australia near 10 years ago, the rules were a little different. Just engineering of Australia started to register the people as a CPN, and RPQ was going to be a mandatory requirement in Queensland.
Yeah.
It seems that they started 2-3 years before 2011, that my manager really, I like to just remind my first manager in Australia, John Burton. He was my rock. He was the person who supported me, and he had really good effect on what I become now. I got my registration when I was working in my pack. When I signed my contract, it was mandatory that I needed to get my RPQ because they located in Queensland, and they need the RPQ signed at that time was going to be mandatory for every single design. My challenge was one of things that they ask, local experience. And I just started for my first job. So I couldn't give this experience. So John said, okay, I was working in GPM Gold with Extrada, and John advised me for a year up to the design would be finished, and we go to the commissioning phase. Just adopt your knowledge with Australian standard, everything, and then start to write down your CPDs and every requirement that they need to be registered in Australia. I started to write down my competency, everything. It was the early in 2013. I can remember that. So it took 2 months. Grammatically, my writing wasn't good at that stage, honestly. And John helped me for writing. I wrote it down, exactly what technical I have done, and he just advised me how I can just change the sentences, how I can put it together to send it to the Engineering of Australia. And by luck, I don't know, they accepted, and I went for interview. And I remember the day before, I said, John, one thing I can promise to you, I'm not going to let you down. And believe in me, I'm going to get it. And it was big interview, and after 4 hours.
4 hours?
4 hours. And interesting things was, before the interview, when I went to Engineering of Australia in City, and there was a man was sitting in the waiting room too, and he asked me, are you waiting for interview? I said, yes. It seems, I didn't ask. I said, it seems that you are waiting for interview too. And then we started talk technically about the earthing, about some subject. And suddenly a lady came and said, okay, Nadia, is your time for interview. When I walked into the room, I saw he's the person who is going to judge me. And really, I was scared because I was talking to him for half an hour about the technical aspect, and he smiled and I relaxed. And 4 hours, that interview was one of the milestone in my life, because it took 4 hours, and they asked me to go out of the room that they can. There were 3 people that they can discuss that am I qualified or not. I was a little, I shouldn't do that, I know, but I stay in the back of the door to see that what they are talking. The first thing that one of them said, that Nadia has a good knowledge, but doesn't have an Australian experience. As far as I heard that, I just moved to end of the corridor. I didn't want to listen what's going on. It took half an hour, 45 minutes. They asked me to come into the room and ask me just one question. How you qualify yourself to work in Australia and with the Australian standard? That time it was Sci Global, that when you typing each standard, it was giving you the equivalent for the each ISA standard or the overseas standard. I say, okay, Sci Global, and they say, how? I said, okay, I know the overseas standard very well. If you ask me, I can just write it down for you, and I can just see what is the equivalent. I can read the standard before I do my job, and I see what is the difference. But believe in me, even when you print it out, you can see still there is ICA standard number on the top of the standard, and it's telling that it is completely same as the data standard, and it's not much different. This is AS3000 that I know that because I work in the project, and I can assure you that as far as I could, I read, and I confident that I can do. And the lady told me, congratulations. And it was best time in that meeting. They said, okay, you convince us that you can work in Australia safely.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, 4 hours. Mine was an hour, my CPNG interview.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like 15 minutes presentation, and then I think 45 minutes of questions, and that's it. Yeah.
Oh my God, you were, I think that your presentation was really good, but my interview took 4 hours, 8:30 up to 12:30.
Really?
I
Wow.
can assure you.
Well,
Even when I call,
I didn't pass my first one, so they told me to go and improve a couple of things and came back. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, so you were a very competent person then.
Well, I'm just thinking it is actually scheduled to be 1 hour, so I don't know how they done 4 hours with you. Mm.
Yeah, no, my schedule didn't have a ending time. They said to me, you need to be in the engineering Australia at 8.
Yeah.
And they started 8:30. Yeah. And even when I called to John to say the result, because I was a little, I think, yeah, it was unprofessional. I said, sorry, John, just I lost. I couldn't get it. And he said, okay, next time. And I said, no, I get it. And when I called him, he said really he was worried that maybe something happened that I didn't call,
Yeah.
because he expected by 10 o'clock I can give him something back. But
Yeah.
yeah, I called 1 o'clock because I went to the coffee shop to celebrate first. Then I called him.
I was about to ask you how you celebrated, but yeah, there you go.
I just went to the coffee shop and I had the beautiful cake. Yeah.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you.
And that's the power of having someone in your corner, you know, someone that backs you up, someone that you can bounce ideas with, someone that, you know, have your back in this journey, that professional journey. It's so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, having the support is really, really, really one of the things. Yeah.
And John is, you know, I met John quite a few times. He's an amazing man. And my pack is an amazing company with amazing culture.
Totally agree. I always say that I was luckiest person that for my first job, I went to the MyPack. I was just lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was yeah. Any other milestones in your career today?
I had many milestones. You know, each project is same as my baby. When I'm doing well, it seems that I got something, because every project for me is a challenge. Every project is different of the other project. I have done the methanol and DME pilot first in the Middle East. And I think that it was the first methanol and DME in the world, because Holder Topsoe did the DME. They had their own license for DME project. But for the methanol and DME, it was the first times it has done in Iran. And really, I am proud of that, because even in the oil and gas company, I say in this one, you need to have a licensor because of the safety. Even the company who develop a system, they cannot do by themselves. It's same as the design review. That a person is bringing the knowledge, another person is doing the detailed design, and we need to have an MC to review the design. Oil and gas design and the work is a little different of the mining that is happening in here. It's more, I can say, technical, and it's a lot of engineers are involved in the design and the procurement, and also especially construction and commissioning phase. So even in the methanol and DME project, the Holder Topsoe people traveled to Iran many times from Denmark, and we had multiple just the coordination and the talk, I can say toolbox talk about the project, and they were very happy too. They said we had a lot of lesson learned from this project too, because some of their design changed by our engineers, that the process engineers, mechanical engineers, and also me, that I had some development in the heat tracing area, that they changed their standard because of that. And so I'm proud, because when you do something like that, you say, okay, No, I'm doing well. I'm doing something, you know. I'm not copying and pasting. It is something that if an engineer does,
Mm.
I don't think so. It will his or her career can take long time, because if a person just copy and paste from other uh, project,
Mm.
doesn't give you the how I can say that, you cannot learn, you cannot get the progress, you cannot improve your knowledge, because you say, okay, it has been done in the another project, just copy paste, it would work, without the thinking that really is it the appropriate for this area or not, what other element need to be considered.
Yeah, you're missing the thinking part, or when you copy and pasting.
Exactly,
Yeah,
the brain part. Yeah,
the brain part. Otherwise, anyone can do it. And that's, during the mining boom in Australia, we had the culture of bums on seats. I need 20 mechanical engineers, and the work ethics or the personal goals is that kind of aligned with the company's goals. And people don't care about this, didn't care about these things, and that I'm happy to see
yeah,
that changing. That changing. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I want to ask you um, if you could send a message to early career engineers, and if you can kind of refine it to people that come from overseas and females, because that's another layer of unique challenges. What would you say to that young woman?
You are unique. You are best ever people in over the world. Never give up. You can change. After you have hope to change what is around you, you can get the progress. Never give up.
Mm.
If one work doesn't work for you, doesn't mean you are not good.
Mm.
It means that the team you were going to work wasn't organized well that you can fit in that team.
Mm.
It is something that the people need to know, that never ever think they are not good enough. They are. There
Mm.
is no language barrier. Yes, we are coming from some non-English maybe countries, some of them may, yes. If your mother tongue is not English, doesn't mean you are not good enough.
Mm.
May there is a lack of the knowledge in other people. It is why they don't get what you are talking about. Try to explain in other way.
Mm.
I use the visual things. When a person is a little, I can say sometimes, especially men, may they are not patient to listen, some of them, and they want just have a shortcut.
Mm.
What I do, I demonstrate to them.
Mm.
Just something happened 2 weeks ago. One of my colleagues sent just a cable trench uh, picture and said, look at here, there was at least 10 pipes that crossing the trench, and said, just I want to show how many challenge we have when we are digging the trench. And I said, just a thought. If I see the pipe before because you need to get the permit before the digging any trench. If you see that a lot of services is passing there, I never dig. What I do, I just change the cable route to above ground. Why you are persisting for the underground?
Mm.
He got defensive and he said, this one just was information, just keep your eyes that it can be happening in the project. I thought, okay, to myself that, okay, so before you start, you should think, even shouldn't happen. But I didn't want to just disappoint him that you don't know your job,
Mm.
because before the setting each project, a project manager should consider all of this possibility before digging, before anything. It is why we bring the person who knows the gas services to allocate where is the gas, and they will give us the layout of the services before even you do anything. Just I share the arc flash that happened in the trench because everybody believed that the arc flash can happen just in the switchgear, in the transformer, any source of the power, but they don't think, yes, it can happen in any joint. Cable.
Can I take that?
Yes.
Make it a bit more of a broader example for the people who watching this. So really, your message was about, respect to others first. Like you didn't want to offend,
Exactly.
but also you showed leadership by saying this is actually a communication issue, and you bring different people to solve a problem together, each one from their point of view and what they know and what they're experts in. It's a beautiful example.
Definitely. You cannot work alone. You should bring everybody in your team together. You need to create the appropriate communication style. Everybody is different. Somebody is visual, somebody is talkative, somebody is another style. When you are communicating with your group, you should just share your thought and bring their thought into the team to see which one, how it can work to do your job better.
That if anyone taking anything from this video is, I would say this one is the most powerful one, which is engineering is not done in isolation. It cannot be done in isolation. You have to bring people, and we have that, in engineering offices, we have that, design review meetings, and we have, so many other tools to actually not share the information, but it's more get other people's perspectives. An engineer tend to just get, whatever they do, get that widget perfect. But it's perfect in their world. They don't see other perspectives. So if you take anything, take that communication. Yeah. Sorry.
Nobody is perfect.
Yeah, I just want to say, as a young engineer and as an experienced engineer, make a goal for yourself to master communication. Be the master of communication as part of you being a professional. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, it is the key point. As you said, isolation never works. When you isolate, when you do not talk to other people, you cannot learn. Lesson learned is result of the toolbox. Just talk to each other and put together to see that really which option is available. Sometimes your option maybe would be last. When you just listen to other people, you will recognize that what you missed when you were judging, when you are creating the option, you miss many things.
Yeah.
But because you think you can do your job perfectly, you don't think that. But when you are talking to other people, you can see the gap. Yeah. Then you can close the gap.
Yeah. So that's really, really good point you're raising about you think you know it all, or you think you're very good, which is, in a lot of cases it's true. But I want to again help others to understand or to take something out of this conversation, which is engineers been trained to be experts, and their ego is connected to being an expert. So when anyone is challenging it, they take it as a personal challenge for their ego. And that's when things kind of go bad, when you actually block other people from giving you feedback because your ego is in the way.
Just open to listen, that's all. Just don't take anything personally.
Yeah, I'm sure you work with a lot of people that are actually not opening to listen to other people. I'm sure you work with people like that.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah.
There is in the many level. It doesn't matter if you are graduate, senior, principal, or even the top manager. Some of them don't listen. and they get the consequence, you know, because a business, just one thing that everybody need to consider, business is a quote, and we are bottom of the quote.
A coat?
You cannot, yeah, a coat that the man is wearing, a coat, jacket,
Yeah,
I
okay.
can say. Yeah, it means you cannot have a bottom and tailor a jacket. Jacket is there. They choose bottom to be fit for that jacket. For the $1, $2, $3 bottom, they don't go to tailor a $3,000 coat or jacket, you know, something that everybody needs to be mindful. If you want to be asset for a business, you need to work to every stakeholders. You need to listen. What is the requirement of the each area? You cannot just install a cable and say, okay, I ran it, fine, bury it, go. 10 years later, 5 years later, maybe they need to replace it. Ask the maintenance guy, what is your requirement? Because that time they will recognize, okay, you didn't do the good job. You know,
High five, high five for that. This is so true. This is so true. Engaging with your stakeholders and listen to what they want and what they need, you know.
Because they are the people who are running the business. It's not you, it's everybody.
And sometimes the stakeholder is the maintenance manager or the maintenance guy, you know. They need to, you know, they need to be able to do maintenance, you know, be able to.
Exactly. You cannot install something that for keeping this safe or maintaining the operation, you need to spend twice price, and it can bring the twice cost for business. What they do, they demolish it and say, okay, bring it another one. You need what you are doing to do correctly with considering the requirement of the business, requirement of the stakeholders, that make everybody comfort and make everybody happy when you are doing your job.
Oh, I saw it so many times in my career that the engineers working for the engineering god, they want to get perfect engineering out. They don't work for the client. They work for someone that, you know, the engineering god, that they need to have perfect engineering. It's not about the perfect engineering. It's actually the perfect solution that the stakeholders, the project sponsors, the clients, they are the winners. It's not the engineering needs to win. The engineering is a tool to provide a product or a service. And a lot of engineers forget it. They would fight, you know, in the 20/80 rule, they would fight for 100%. But they're gonna miss completely the point of actually providing a good service to their clients, really.
Yeah, it is why we have many tools in place, because for getting the good practice, you can be perfect designer, but that perfect design shouldn't be the good practice.
Yeah.
You can have a 99% excellent design, but perfect practice, you know. May something need to be changed by requirement of the people who are working in the site. For example, I'm electrical, so I can give the detail things. When consultant doing the arc flash, they do when the door of the panel is open. I had this challenge with them. Okay, everybody is going around the panel. It doesn't need to be electrician. You need to calculate the arc flash when door is closed and door is open. Door when is open, electrician in every site, just electrician has a permit to access to the electrical board. It is God, it is Bible, you know. But maybe the site need to clean. Maybe the site need to do some mechanical. They cannot have a grade 2, class 2 PPE with the face shield, everything that is not necessary. Yeah, it's safer, no doubt. If it is why you are doing the design, you can ask that, okay, go and they use the grade 4 PPE for everything. This is not practical. You know what I mean? You need to be meet the requirement for safety, but in the good practice, okay, when the door is closed, if any fault happen and the door is locked, okay, what would be the likelihood that the door explode? The likelihood means what is the maximum energy that can be created, calculated,
Yeah.
and say, okay, that this door can open, can be explode or not. If not, why the person need the arc flash PPE 2 meters far from the panel? You know, something like that. You know, the consultant sometimes is focusing in the one problem, but by solving one, they create the many other problems that it is the daily base routine for the maintenance guy.
Yeah.
They clean it in the fertilizer side. They clean every day. So every day they should have a face shield 2 meters far from the panel that the maximum fault is 10.
You know, it's not gonna
It
happen.
doesn't make sense. You know? Yeah.
It's not practical. Yeah. We're kind of running out of time. We have like 5 more minutes. So, do you have any? Well, first, thanks for this awesome example. It's really good, really detailed.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Any final thoughts or message that you want to give other engineers?
Just never give up.
Never give
You
up.
have a value. Yeah, you deserve to get what you want. Just fight for that.
Yeah, I agree. Life, you know, a lot of people I talk with, they kind of just roll with life, and it's like whatever comes my way. And I'm a great believer of creating opportunities for ourselves, and it have to come from self-worth, and that's what you're talking about. It have to come with I deserve more than whatever life is giving me. I'm gonna go after what I want. You know,
Exactly.
you wanted to practice as an engineer and not just let others decide what's your limits. And you went to the other side of the world to create your career, your life. So
We
absolutely.
have a slang over there. There is nothing that an engineer cannot do. You can do.
There you go.
Just find a way. That's all.
Find a way. Yeah, totally. Cool. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's been
My
amazing.
pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to see where you go in your career. And is it okay if any engineers wants to approach you and have a chat with you and maybe go
Sure.
a bit deeper? Is it okay if they approach
Yeah,
you?
sure. I'm more than happy. If I can help, I'm more than happy to help. And yeah, sure. Please just send me the message and we can just talk if I can help. That would be great.
Cool. Thank you so much. Really, you know, we've been helped. We had our mentors, and it's good to return the favor to the next generation.
Definitely.
And mentor others. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on you. Cool. Thank you very much, and I'll see you around.
Thank you so much for your time and thank you for opportunity that you gave to me. Thank you and have a great time.
You're welcome. Cheers.